Washington.
This your boy, Martin here once again. What's going on, y'all? I done put on my bonnet and everything. I just recorded this whole video, and I see this is what happens when you try to do things without notes. I went through and recorded this whole video about Bad Girls Club, and I completely forgot about the whole main thing about that was said in this episode. When Candice and Bernisa was fighting. Candice, girl, let me tell you, there would not have been any amount of security. There would not have been any amount of restraint. There wouldn't have been any amount of couth or class that could have stopped me from ripping the eyeballs out your head for talking about my kids. I don't care if we could be having the most ugliest fallout between me and another person. I am not about to call nobody else's kids ugly. I'm not to call nobody else's kids a gorilla. And you, Candice, as an African-American woman, especially what we got going on right now with current events and these politics in this recent election, you trying to tell her daughter that she look like gorillas just because Bernisa ain't trying to fuck with you no more? I could see the anger, I could see the frustration, I could see the festivity that was going on in Bernice's mind. Like, she didn't even care about none of that stuff that her Candice was talking about in reference to the flowers, the frustration, and none of that. She didn't care about any of that at that moment. She just saw somebody else attacking her children. And just as a mama bear, or just a mother in general, we don't... You do not play by people's kids. You do not do that. And everybody in the house could agree, like, look. And it was right around Mother's Day. I could tell that Bernisa wanted to just... Well, she wanted to kill her. She just wanted to kill her. And Candice going around thinking that stuff was cute. That was not cute. That was not cute at all. And I was just like, Candice, you lost major cool points. Like, she was cool, you know, at the beginning. But even like with the stuff she was doing with Bernisa, I didn't really mind too much. I may not have understood it. But when you start calling people kids ugly and then they're looking like gorillas and you were sitting there, an African-American woman yourself, it's like, girl, you just rubbed me all the way the wrong way, and I'm pretty much done with you at this point. So, and I don't know how I missed that in this original review, but I'm glad I went back and I watched it again. I didn't feel like re-recording the whole thing, so I'm going to put this little blurb here at the beginning so y'all can get y'all life. So, yeah, watch the rest of the review. Hey, what's going on, YouTube? This is your boy Martin here once again. We are back finally from the Thanksgiving holiday. I hope everybody got fat and fed over the course of this holidays and got to spend time with your families and things of this nature. So we're going to be back for this. I didn't realize this was actually the finale of Bad Girls Club. Do Bad Girls, they don't usually end this early. They usually get about 12 to 13 episodes, right? Because I felt like this was soon. I don't know. But, I mean, the season, all in all, was... It was very meh. There was very little, like, realistic drama in the house. Or the drama that was there was kind of, I don't want to say forced, but it just seemed like they took things where they didn't really need to go just for the sake of TV, but that's neither here nor there. This finale was kind of lackluster, and I didn't get to talk about last week's episode because I was out of town, but this whole, and pretty much last week's episode, or the whole plot spilled into this one. This is a very uncomfortable, it was kind of awkward to watch, this whole Candice and Bernisa love triangle, but not love triangle, or not even a triangle, but just this quarrel that they're having. Okay, first of all, this opens a discussion that I've wondered about, and I've noticed when it comes to the discussion of girls and being lesbians. It seems that society allows more so for women to just casually, participate in lesbian acts as opposed to men. Women can do it, and when they do it, it's viewed as a sense of freedom. It's viewed as sexual fluidity. It's just viewed as something. It's kind of like in the same lane as trying weed for the first time. Just something that you experiment with growing up. Like it's something that's casual, basically. Whereas it's not really viewed the same on the other side for the men. It's like if you do one gay thing, you're gay for life, and you're just looked down upon forever. And that's just a, what is it, double standard against men, which is there aren't very few, or there aren't very many, I should say. But that's the biggest one. So this whole thing about, well, Bernicia dated a girl once. She says she's not gay, but yet she let Candice eat her out and all this other stuff. And now Candice is trying to be possessive. That's another thing. This doesn't matter where you fall in the spectrum. If we've only been barely communicating, or we've only known about each other's existence for maybe at most a week, even if during those 7 days we may have had some type of intimate connection or what have you, let me tell you, that does not mean you have branded me. That does not mean that you own me. That does not mean that you can dictate who can give me flowers. Okay? That does not mean that we are together. The fact that Candice was being all messy and possessive, ripping whatever the flowers that she got from some random girl, that Bernicia got from some random girl, grabbing her up, pulling her, I'm like, nah, that's abusive behavior. That is the first signs of abusive behavior. That you trying to control and manipulate and do all, nah, and that's even, well, no. That's even if we were been together for like 5 years, you do not grab, pull, and do all that other, nah, because that's the window to more potentially violent behavior, and ain't nobody got time for that. So that's where Candice was definitely wrong. And she said that she could be possessive if she has a crush on you. Okay, that's fine. But the fact that I'm going to need you to know that just because that you have a crush doesn't mean that all the world now revolves around this relationship and I am now your property. That's not how crushes work, okay? So I could definitely understand Bernicia's frustration because she was probably just like, well, I'm in this house full of women, I don't really have access to the outside world. I have needs. And you're willing to fulfill these needs. So why not? That's kind of the vibe that I was getting from Bernicia's as far as this whole situation was concerned. But I just couldn't figure out exactly what the argument was. Because as I was listening to both of them talk, I'm like, really, I'm not understanding completely where neither one of you are saying right now. It's like I know what viewpoint you guys are coming from, but the words that you're using back and forth with each other aren't connecting. It's just like, so, okay, Candice 1 minute says, I'm not trying to force her to be with me, but at the same time, you're pulling on her and acting jealous. And Bernicia, you're not trying to get feelings, but yet you're investing all this emotion into this girl every time that she, comes around or says a word. If you really was over it and you didn't really care about it, you would just pay it dust. So I'm not completely understanding their whole whatever. Or is there something that we're not seeing? Because but that was their whole thing. Like, there really wasn't much else to the house. Like, even the new girls like Cabrina and Tiara didn't really, they were cool girls. Last episode I was watching, Cabrina cooked that meal and that looked good. I'm like, I'm like an undercover foodie. Like, I love to eat, but I'm not like one of those people like the judges off Top Chef. You know, them judges off Top Chef, they be like, "Ooh, the texture and the consistency of the flavors were you know, all of that." Nah, does it taste good? Yes or no? That's where I'm at. So I appreciate that, and I always thought that Cabrina was bad. She looked really good. Tiara was cool. It took me a while. I think for everybody, it kind of took a while for Tiara to kind of grow on them, but she's cool. She's nice. She didn't really bring too much, no drama or nothing like that. She wasn't messy or anything, so that was, you know, pleasurable. And then it came down to this whole roast thing, and I didn't know how that was gonna go. I thought that could potentially go left, but everybody cracked the little jokes, and it was fun. And for a second, I thought all the other girls that came out were going to be coming back. Now I'm like, now that would be good for TV, but I really don't think that the actual roast would be able to go on if all these girls are having to just sit here and especially talk about one another. No, that wasn't about to go down. So they just brought in like little heads or little figurines or whatever. It wasn't no real I was about to say, because baby, we supposed to save this for the reunion. So after the roast, it's pretty much time for the girls to go home, and none of the girls really wanted to go. I mean, they went out before that, but, you know, when they came back, it was time for the girls to go home. They started going home one by one, and Z was the only, like, original girl there. So I'm just like, oh, well, I guess you are. Yep. Other originals, I think I mostly just wished that Sway would have stayed, because I was really starting to get attached to her, and I was really liking who she was and what she was standing for in the house. I thought she was one of the more mature ones. And I think that's it. The others can kick rocks. Kaylee, bye. Kayla, ooh, you work my nerves. Tabitha, you deserve to get a kick in your back for that foolishness that you did that first episode. Ryan, she started getting on my nerves. Bernicia, that whole Candice thing was getting on my nerves. After that first episode, I'm like, okay, I don't want to see this no more. So if that's going to be all you're going to be doing for the rest of the house, goodbye. Really, Z kind of got on my nerves off and on, but she kind of faded to the background for the majority. Is there anybody else that I'm missing from the originals? I don't think so. If I did, they were probably not very memorable in the first place. So yeah, that was Bad Girls Club 16. Now this reunion about to be good, because there were a lot of replacements. I mean, there's going to be a lot of girls, and there was some interesting fights. I know that Winter is going to basically be fighting everybody. Winter's going to be fighting Sway probably. She's going to be fighting Candice for sure. I think we saw that clip where it looked like Winter just walked up and ran up on Candice, so we know that's happening. We know Candice is probably going to fight Bernicia again. It looks like Z and Bernicia are going to fight again, so that should be interesting. So I'm looking forward to the reunion. This finale was kind of a whatever, but thanks again for watching. Thank you guys for being, you know, patient with the channel. I do want to do some more of my Five Nights at Freddy gameplays, because I do enjoy making those videos, and a few of you enjoy watching me scream in terror. So if you guys want to see me scream in terror at Five Nights at Freddy's, make sure you go check out the 2 that I uploaded on my channel already. And I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Like, share, subscribe.
Washington.